אז רק תראה שאם אנשים מצטרפים, תלך ללחוץ
מה אתה אומר?
למעלה.
אני צריך להכניס
שאם
אותם, כן.
אנשים מצטרפים, אתה רק צריך ללחוץ למעלה שם.
אוקיי, בסדר.
זה יופיע לך כחול כזה.
אוקיי, מעולה.
טוב.
תודה.
בכיף, בכיף.
ביי ביי.
Hi, Yonatan. Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, Barbara. Hello. Shabbat Shalom. Wow, this wall of yours is really cool. Bricks and
Oh,
art. Art and bricks.
yeah.
I also have art and bricks wall.
Yeah.
This red one, but white is nice.
Yeah. I love painted brick. I like brick.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yes.
How was your week?
Oh, kind of busy, but good.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to Passover. It's a beautiful, beautiful holiday.
Yeah, definitely. It came so fast.
Yeah.
It came back so fast. Well, I guess it's the two of us. Okay, no, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I see that Tina is here,
Tina
and
and a new Shul.
the no Shul is probably Itamar,
Itamar.
who's
Really?
I don't think he's going to participate, but he let me in, so that's why he's
Oh,
here.
he's hiding under the S.
He's hiding.
Not hiding. He's somewhere over there.
He's somewhere. I just spoke with him, and he's doing well.
Good,
And we said Shabbat Shalom, and it was nice.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, my week was also busy. I think I had the busiest week I ever had.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What was up with your week?
I'm just in kind of like this bottleneck. That's how you say it, or
Yeah, like
so
a traffic jam?
at traffic. Not no. It's
Oh,
not stuck, but it's just I'm rehearsing for a theater play, so it's many hours every day.
oh,
It's about to go up next week, so it's kind of like the height of it, and Lydia and I are moving from here
oh,
to a new apartment. That's why everything is packed behind
oh,
me.
I couldn't see any boxes back there.
Yeah, it's well, actually, they're hidden in the closet there and stuff.
Oh,
But yeah, if you look carefully, you'll see a bunch of
oh, now
boxes
I
and stuff.
see.
Yeah.
Where are you moving to?
We're moving deeper into Ridgewood,
Okay.
um, to a nice, to a really nice place. So it's nice. We're going out of Egypt, actually.
Out of Egypt. Okay.
In a way. Not that this is Egypt. I think Egypt wasn't as lofty, but
Wonderful. That's great news.
yeah, it's really nice. Amy's here. Let's see. Hi, Amy. And yeah, and also, I need to decide about grad school. I want to do music therapy, and I need to decide between two schools for next year, and it's a bit confusing to understand the differences in, I don't know,
Yeah. Which schools?
NYU
Uh,
and Nupalt, which is
Newport,
another school around here that does music therapy. So
but it's not it's out of the city though.
it's out of the city, but they have a hybrid program where you
Oh,
can kind of like mostly study at home.
uh-huh.
But there's something not like studying in Zoom. It's kind of like there's something weird about it. So NYU is nicer, but they're very expensive. So I'm trying to understand if it makes sense to, if it's a moral, if it's a moral investment. Yeah. So I've been sharing my busy week. Like a lot of things are coming together, and a
Right.
few other things. But,
Wow. That's a lot of things. I mean, because the things you mentioned are already big things.
yeah,
So
yeah, and it's all
how
kind
much
of
more
like
can you do? Really?
right. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
Congratulations
exciting
on
though.
your offers. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
How are you?
good, thank you. Yeah, I climbed a big mountain to get my tax returns done and got them in
Ah,
one day, and it's been nice to coast a little bit after that.
right. It was this Monday, right?
Yes, yes,
I did. I knew I'm gonna have a busy week, so I managed to do it last week. But usually I do it on the last day. Like,
yes, yes. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm happy we're after it. We're free from it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
yes.
Um, I was looking at the description of this Kabbalat Shabbat that I thought of, um, I guess a month ago, about kind of like something lighter, about singing like going back to the Pesach songs and warming up towards the Seder, and I felt a little bit like I didn't know what I was doing, because like also after reading Misha's email this morning about the war and how do we celebrate Pesach this year, it felt like I don't know if you can be so light in this. If emotionally and kind of spiritually I can be. Susan is here. Let's see. So I'll share this with Susan, because we it was a month ago when we talked about this Kabbalat Shabbat. So what I was thinking about today is, yeah, that we do some songs, of course, for Pesach and some songs for Shabbat, but maybe we can kind of continue a conversation that started last week when we were in person, of talking about the meaning of Pesach this year and of freedom, when some people that are kind of like close to us um, are going through hardship and
And not free.
and not free. Yeah. So yeah. Hey Susan, if you can hear us.
I can hear you.
Hi.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
uh, so I shared before that I'm moving in next week, and everything is already in boxes. So my candles are in the box. So I thought
Oh,
I'll ask you if anyone has candles so we can start Shabbat.
um, I think I have. I think I have. Let me see.
Okay, okay, let's see. It doesn't have to be like official thing with candlesticks, or it can be just symbolic.
Where are you moving to?
So we're now in the border of Ridgewood and Bushwick,
Mm-hmm.
and we're moving deeper into Ridgewood to kind of like a quieter place. This is kind of like a loft thing, but there are kind of like rooms. They're going to be a music room and a washing machine and
That
Ah,
sounds pretty nice.
dishwasher and a terrace. So yeah,
nice.
yeah, it's nice. How was your week, Susan?
How was my week? Up and down. Some things were not good and some things happened that were reasonable and decent. So, I'm feeling that that's good.
It's nice
So
that we
yeah,
see
mixed week, mixed week.
next week. Yeah.
And I've been kind of dealing with some of the information, regarding the New York Times and reports about, that may or may not be accurate, in terms of numbers. So I was kind of,
What matter are you talking about? What numbers?
well, I had a friend who, was talking about the journalist and the number that she was saying that a lot of the counts of bodies of people killed in Gaza with the numbers the Times took were coming from Hamas sources, but
Right.
they weren't actually completely accurate. So I thought that was kind of serious. She was just talking about propaganda that's been out there.
Well, there's definitely propaganda, but also I'm sure there's I don't know. We have candles for Shabbat. That's good. It's hard. It's
So I
hard
don't
to
know.
yeah. It's hard to yeah. This thing is hard because none of us I guess went to Gaza and saw what's going on. Uh,
Well,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But it's
I
like the
went.
sources they use, they're supposed to use a number of disparate sources for numbers and then kind of work on. They're not supposed to just take them from the authorities that they think are going to be the most, valid. You know what I'm saying? They need to, that's what they're supposed to be doing is the Times. So I
No,
was
of
kind of
course.
shocked. I was kind of shocked by that, me personally, because I've done a lot with media in my life. So I was kind of, just shocked that they would have taken so many figures that were, that were not validated by other sources. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. It's yeah.
So
I
at any
want.
rate, we don't have to talk about it. I mean, this is
No. It's
possible.
like I guess we can't not talk about it, especially if we talk about freedom and Pesach and. Um yeah, it's hard. I shared before that when I planned this a month ago, I thought it's gonna be kind of like a lighter Pesach preparation gathering, but as I approach it and the war is continuing and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, I don't know if the numbers are accurate, but I'm sure there is a humanitarian crisis there because there's a war there, and
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and and the kidnapped people who are there are still there and nothing changed, and so I guess it's hard not to talk about these things
Well,
today
at
and
any
also in
rate,
person. Yeah.
it's nice that you're doing this. I hope I'm going to be able to stay through the whole, the whole thing. But I'm
Yeah,
very happy that it's very good you're doing it.
I'm happy to be here. Uh, Barbara, do you want to do the blessing also?
Sure.
Nice.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Beautiful candles.
Yes.
Yeah, and beautiful singing. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon. Mi melech Malachi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. בואכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים Okay, that was a Shabbat song. Anyone has a favorite Pesach song in preparation for the Seder? Well, yeah, no, I've been singing. I've been doing a lot of preparation seders with the toddler classes I teach this week, and there are many songs that like American songs that I picked up throughout the years. Like there's a song about the frogs. One morning when Pharaoh woke in his bed, there were frogs in his bed and frogs on his head, frogs on his nose and frogs on his toes, frogs here, frogs there, frogs were jumping everywhere. So I sang it about, I don't know, 68 times this week.
Oh my
But, and also there's like the song about the work. Bang, 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 bang your hammers low. Bang, 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 give a heavy blow. For it's work, 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 every day and every night. Work, 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 when it's dark and when it's light. And it continues different kinds of work. Pam is here. But the big hit was Dayenu. So we can sing Dayenu to get into the atmosphere. But while we sing, you can think about songs for Pesach that you like, that you want to suggest. אילו הוציאנו ממצרים, הוציאנו ממצרים, דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, 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 די דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, דיינו, דיינו. אילו הוציאנו ממצרים, הוציאנו ממצרים, דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, 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 די דיינו, די דיינו, די דיינו, דיינו, דיינו. Okay, that's just a warm-up. I prepared a few thoughts about freedom and about slavery and about oppression and about things like that. Also in context of the war that's going on. But maybe so so I have a couple of things to share, but maybe I can kind of like repeat the question that Misha asked last week, is how do we do Pesach this year? How do we come together and celebrate our freedom with everything that's going on in the world? If maybe someone has, I don't know, some feeling you want to share about it, or a thought, or a plan.
I'm finding that in some ways it makes Passover more vivid, and brings it into our time in my life. One thing is just the length of time that suffering and slavery can go on before things ease or break or change. But they do. And also what Misha's been teaching about the importance of seeing ourselves on all sides of the Passover story. And I that feels very real to me in terms of Israel. I love Israel. I'm also very troubled by what the government is doing in Gaza. And so like I can put myself in both sides of the story. I've never really even thought about that before.
Yeah, you're thinking about the play, the Pharaoh play. Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Mhm.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. It's interesting that the thought about the governments, that like the difference between the people and the governments, and or the connections. Yeah.
And it's incredible to think that all that time ago when that happened, uh, things have not changed so much because here we are again. In some way, we're experiencing the same thing. Uh, I don't know if that might not be a good message, but I guess it's something we need to face. We do need to face, um, the hope and the promise of good things to come. We hope, and we will try, and we need to learn from history. I mean, we need to learn to do better in this world for everybody.
Well, I mean, I also think the complexity, what I liked, Misha's play really made you see the complexity of the different viewpoints. And I like the fact that it kind of adds that to the Passover story, because he really is giving you the point of view of someone from a background, completely different background, and what that story was about. And I think the story we're in now is an old one, but I don't think we see the whole of it. We don't see all the different backgrounds, all the different currents that are going on, like the geopolitics. And there were geopolitics back then. It's a very complex story. So, I mean, to me, it's giving me hope because, like, as you said, they got through it. And it's quite possible that we will find a way to get through this situation as the countries do without having a huge war to end all wars. I mean, that's the thing. And I think that's the thing no one's really kind of talking about. It's like, what is that concept, the war to end all wars? What is the concept in Passover of them leaving and kind of in a way challenging the concept that they are going to be annihilated? I mean, they get they get kind of a divine interference or a divine rescue in that story. Do we have one too? And what would that actually be? It may be very different than we think it should be. In other words, the story, I thought it was really interesting about the Iran sending those missiles. And interestingly enough, with the technology, the Israelis, none of those missiles actually came into Israel. They actually destroyed them in the air. None of them came.
Well, no, some of them did come and they landed in the Sinai. Some
Right.
of them,
Yeah, exactly.
not in very areas where the Iron Dome does not really exist.
Right. Exactly.
The Iron Dome is there to protect the people, in large numbers, as opposed to the desert, where.
Right. So I thought that was really interesting. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of things that, they might have thought of as miracles at some time, or another. And who are they benefiting and for what purpose? We don't know because we don't know the whole story.
Well,
We don't know.
I think there are a lot of people that have very specific hopes for
Exactly.
how this story, how we want this story to end, you know, and I mean, the ideas and the thoughts are out there, and have been out there for a long time. You know, it's a question of getting the people together to agree to move together. I mean, people
That is the crux of it. That's the crux of it.
we're so separated, so far apart, so angry. I mean, you know, I was watching the what happened on at Columbia, you know, with the students. They arrested Palestinian so people Palestinian protesters that had taken over a building on campus.
Right.
I mean, I take a course at Hunter, and I see what's going on there as well. So, you know, it extends into every facet of life everywhere. We're so far away from there, but it's affecting us here.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm just saying. But I really have a certain humility that the story is much bigger, and all sides have a different version of the story. And that's why I love the way that he did the Pharaoh's version of what occurred. So that you know, we're at a moment in history. We are, and we don't know what will happen. So we're really spectators, and that's really the story.
When you talk
So
about geopolitics, like ancient geopolitics, it makes me think about there's something interesting about the people of Israel wanting to leave. They didn't want to make a revolution and change their position inside of Egypt. They just wanted their wish was to go away. And it's
right.
kind of like because usually I don't know, I'm thinking about Syria, there are refugees. There it's very hard to be a refugee, but you go somewhere. I don't know, you're not being promised anything, but and I'm thinking about in that context about the people in Gaza that are kind of trapped there. They can't go. They can't go to Israel. They can't go to Egypt, and it kind of reminds you of this thing that you're not allowed to leave. There's
Well,
something about that reminds me of like the Mitzrayim, like Egypt, Mitzrayim, like a narrow place that you're stuck in, and you're not allowed to leave. I was thinking if they were refugees and they would, let's say, go to, if they were, you know, like Gaza is built in a way that it's on the sea, and then Egypt and then Israel from the other side, if they could go somewhere.
well, that's really the question, you know, because it was like I was talking, you know, I was talking online through someone at the Emirates, believe it or not, who was trying to get someone to do publicity for the hotels. And I said to him, how many hotels do you have that are unoccupied? He said, well, most of them are unoccupied. I said, well, these are our people. I said, could you not broker them to occupy those buildings and get them out of Gaza? I said this months ago to this guy, and he was totally like stunned that I would even make that request. And I said to him that that Israel actually, when the Ethiopian Jews were threatened, sent planes out and picked them up and took them away. I said, I don't understand why you're not evacuating, you know. And it was curious because he actually he couldn't give any answer, you
Well,
know,
the
because
Palestinians worry that it's going to be another, like if they leave Gaza, they will never be able to return, similar to that side of the story of what happened in 48, and uh, that if they leave Gaza, it's going to just become an Israeli territory again or something like that, that you can't leave because you have to keep the land, or I guess. I don't know if, yeah. I don't
I
know
don't
what.
know, because I mean, because it could be worked out that it was a temporary tangent. It could be worked out with the government that there's a date of return. You know, I mean, there's lots of ways that it could be negotiated, but
Yeah.
it seemed to me bizarre that all the Arab countries surrounding that area, none of them have figured out a way to evacuate people who are also Arabs.
I want to share something. Michael Posnick shared a poem um, earlier today. Let me just copy it from here. which talks about Mitzrayim, about this narrow place, and it was so beautiful. And I thought maybe, let's see. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Let's see. Where's the chat? Chat. Can you see that?
Yes,
Would anyone want to read it for us? I think you can do a better job than me.
I would read it if I can see it.
You can
Okay.
see? Okay, yeah.
Actually, I can't. I mean, I saw it appear, but I'm not seeing how I would access it here.
Maybe on the menu on the down.
Click on chat on the bottom there.
Yeah, there should be a chat.
I can read it if you want.
Okay.
Gotta get my glasses.
All right. I'm actually going to have to leave early, but thank you. Oh, I can. No, I don't have to move early. All right.
To the other chair.
Okay.
God.
I thought you were signaling. Okay.
Chair.
All right. Sorry.
Shall I read?
Yes.
I carry Egypt inside me. There, nothing changes. When I am there, neither do I. I carry the desert inside me too, ever-changing eddies of wind and sand. There, only transience and sun are constant. I also carry within me a promised land. So do you. It belongs to no one and everyone. It is everywhere, patient, waiting our return.
When he says it belongs to no one and everyone, I'm thinking about the governments and the people, that it's about human beings and not like the people. Like there's something corrupt about the idea of a government. Like at least as the way I experience it in my lifetime. I like it's kind of like always against the people in a way, but. Even though Joe Biden seems to be nice, but
Did I not say the very first line?
yeah, you didn't say the title and the very first line,
Oh, I'm sorry.
but I can read it. A Passover poem. Hurry, or the bread will rise.
Who wrote it?
So Michael wrote it and shared it with me
Okay.
earlier today. Michael Posnick.
Right.
I also like when he says, "So do you." It's very comforting. It's a bit rude and comforting. Yeah, it makes me want to set it to music or translate it to Hebrew or do something with it.
I think a song would be great, Jonathan.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm gonna do this weekend.
Yeah, that last verse is so wonderful.
Yeah, it's like the last verse is kind of like, so if Egypt is, I feel like is like if Egypt is the narrow place, that last verse is like kind of like expands,
Right.
expands and expands. There's another thing that I wanted to share that has to do with freedom and the people and the Israelis who are kidnapped in Gaza, which I think of. And my father, I shared it in Yom Kippur. My father was a war prisoner in Egypt in the Yom Kippur War, and it's kind of like it's a very unique experience, and he talked very little of it throughout the years. But now when there are a lot of Israelis that are in captivity, he started talking about it all of a sudden, and something kind of changed in my experience of him in that context. And my parents were visiting here last month. My little sister gave birth. She lives in Bed-Stuy, and it was it was beautiful. And but and I had a lot of these kind of like little conversations with my father, and he told me that when he was in the prison there, he was in a cell by himself for a few months, and he said that what kept him going is two songs that he would sing to himself, that he knew by heart and would sing to himself. And one is Achoti Kala, which is a popular Israeli song of the time. It was in this songs festival right before the war began, which I didn't pay much attention to, but it's really beautiful. It's about the bride. It's kind of like sort of between a Shabbat and a wedding song. And the other one is Streets of London, which was also popular at the time, by Ralph. Let me see. I pulled it out here. Where is it? Oh, 1 second. Let me put it again. Streets of London. Here, I'll copy it to the chat. Why is it not copying? Okay, I'll try again, sorry. Have you seen the old man in the closed-down market, kicking up the papers with his worn-out shoes? In his eyes you see no pride, hands and loosely at his side, yesterday's papers telling yesterday's news. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind. So I feel like, first of all, so this idea of him singing it to himself and kind of like helping the song or the music, kind of like helping him get through this thing. There's something that's very, I don't know, yeah. And also the song that talks about other people who are kind of like in need or suffer, like someone who feels like they're in a hard place, and they say, okay, I'm going to show you there are other people, this idea that other people are in trouble. So I thought maybe I can sing a little part of this song just because it's a nice song.
And to honor your father.
Yeah, my father, and also the Israelis who are in captivity, and kind of like to try to be with them somehow.
Yeah.
Have you seen the old man in the closed-down market, kicking up the papers with his worn-out shoes? In his eyes you see no pride, hands hang loosely at his side, yesterday's papers telling yesterday's news. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind. Have you seen the old girl who walks the streets of London? Dirt in her hair and her clothes and in rag. She's no time for talking, she just keeps right on walking, carrying her home in 2 carrier bags. So how can you tell me you're lonely and say for you the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you something to make you change your mind. Make you change your mind.
Lovely.
You probably know this song, right?
No,
No?
never
In
heard.
Israel, it
Sounds
was,
familiar.
yeah, in Israel it was a big hit in the beginning of the 70s. I understand, and still I kind of like, yeah. Obviously it's from England, but um,
It's a beautiful story about your father. Like he gave himself music therapy.
right.
Is he a singer like you, or he just sang these songs?
He's not a singer, but well, he's a singer like me.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
But you know,
I'm a singer like him.
Okay.
Why was he in jail?
So he was in the Israeli army in the Yom Kippur War, and they were in the front line on the Suez Canal. And in the first day of war, all the posts of the Israeli army were were taken in prison or killed. So he was a war prisoner.
How long was he imprisoned?
2 months and a half.
Oh, well, it's a
Yeah,
beautiful song. It's
but you
quite
know,
lovely.
yeah,
we all have those moments where we need that song, you know, because music has a way of, you know, helping us you feel better, you know, to get through the moments that are so difficult. I mean, I remember I had a bicycle accident and I dislocated my shoulder, and it was so painful. And the ambulance took me to the hospital along with my bicycle. I insisted my bicycle get in the ambulance with us. But um, but then, you know, it was a Saturday night and there were a lot of people there that were much sicker than me. And so I just lay there for hours and I started singing to myself. So I know exactly what your father was doing. I mean, I really understand that music and singing is what you reach for when you have nothing else, just your voice and some memory, some song.
yeah, yeah. And it kind of like it tells a story. It takes you to a different world, and yeah.
It sort of hugs you.
Did it change him as an artist in terms of what he was doing?
Well, he he's he's not an artist. Like he worked in Israel. He worked in the after that was after the war. He worked in the Nature Reserve Authority. He was driving in the desert and keeping it.
Wow.
Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that.
yeah. But yeah, I'm sure I didn't know him before, but I think it probably changed him a lot. Yeah. And also it went kind of like it passed on to his family, and yeah, it's interesting that you say that it's like a music therapy, that he did music therapy to himself. It's like, yeah, makes a lot of thoughts in my head. Yeah. Well, I guess this is kind of our Shabbat, but it's not as light as I thought of it in the beginning, but
But
thank you.
it's
I
very
feel
meaningful. It was really meaningful, and thank you
yeah.
for doing it.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing. And it's so nice to start Shabbat like this. To yeah, to talk and be together.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
לך דודי. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה, יא, יא, יא. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה, יא, יא, יא. לך דודי לקראת כלה, ידדה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. Shabbat Shalom. I'll see you, I guess, after the holiday.
Okay, חג שמח.
חג שמח.
חג שמח, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank
Shabbat
you.
shalom.